Hello everyone, welcome back. In the previous video, we have talked about what Azure DevOps is, how we can create our first organization, our project, and we also had a walkthrough of our dashboard. In this video, we will talk about how we can connect our GitHub repository inside our Azure DevOps repo, how we can create our own first pipeline, and then how we can create our first release with the help of that pipeline that we have created in the step number 2. So let's quickly start. This is the project where we left off in the previous video. Now what we have to do is I'll just go ahead and open my repository over here, my GitHub account. You all need to do is just go ahead and open your GitHub account. This is the very first repository which we are going to use as a part of demo. So just let's quickly copy this repository and then go to the repos. And then here you can see what we have option. We've got new repository and we have got import repository. We also have an option for importing over here. So we'll just go ahead, click on import, provide the URL. If this is a private Git repo, what you need to do is click on require authentication, provide username and password, and then click on import. As this is a public repo, you can see it is a public repository. I'll just go ahead and click on import. It will take some time based on the size of your files which are available there in the GitHub repository, and then it will let you know if your GitHub repository is imported or not. So you can see here we've got import successful. We can click here to navigate to code and we will be able to see all the code over here. We don't have much, but this is something we have. Now if you see, once you are here in the GitHub repository itself, we see that it is saying that setup build. So what a build is, basically when we go ahead and set up, let's talk about what a build is. So build is something whenever suppose your developer is pushing something into your branch, into the new branch or existing branch, you wanted to validate that code against a certain org which you have done. Suppose that you have an org which is saying that let's say testing sandbox, which is used for validating all the code, where you are running the test cases, you are running some sonar validations, you are running some PMD validations, and if there is any issues, you are telling your developer that there are some issues. Okay, that is what we have here. Whenever a developer is pushing some changes to the branch, we wanted to run a build, so we'll go ahead and set up a build for that branch. Okay, this is basically build is nothing, basically it's a pipeline. Okay, you can either use YML file, which we will be using when we are working with SFDX. For now, let's select starter pipeline. Okay, so as soon as you select starter pipeline, it will create a file which is YML file. You can change the name. By default, it is saying that Azure pipelines.yml. Now you see here it is saying trigger. In which branch you wanted to set a trigger. So whenever a user is basically putting up something, posting some changes, having a pull request, that trigger is going to run. So suppose that we have by default it is main. Suppose that we wanted to have something called whatever the branch we create feature, and then say that we create bug fix. Okay, these are the some predefined branches or branch structure that we are going to tell to our developers. If you wanted to have a feature, you need to create a branch like feature and then name of the branch. If you are fixing a bug, you need to say bug fix and then name of the branch. Or if you have some other, like you have some sort of hot fix, the fix which is very important and need to be in production environment ASAP. Okay, so these are some triggers over here in the branches. Okay, now if you wanted to have something else, you just need to, everything is basically a part of your trigger we have seen here. Now pool is something in which cells, in which environment, basically what kind of containerization where you wanted to have. This is provided by Azure itself. You don't need to worry about that. Ubuntu latest is the best thing that you can put. And then we have got some steps, like number of steps. We have got what script it is going to run, echo hello world, this is the name. And then we have got multi-line script, so you say that run a multi-line scripts. Okay, you can also have some jobs over here, so you can say that jobs, and under job you can add job, and then here you can have steps. So if you say, if you copy this and paste it over here, and we just indent it. Everything is a matter of indentation. You need to just hit a tab and then indent. So we are just getting some here it is saying that unexpected property jobs. Okay, is this something? Yeah, so we are having some error over here for the jobs. We'll just go ahead and revert back to the previous one, and we will talk about the jobs as well. You don't need to worry about that, like we are just leaving this as it is. We will be creating the jobs, we will be creating the steps, and we will also be creating stages as well. If you see, there is something called show assistant. So if you click on show assistant, you will see there are multiple options that you wanted to have. You can use inside your YML file. Suppose that you wanted to execute a ant file over here. Okay, you can select ant. Where is your build file? What are the options? Options are nothing, the parameters that you wanted to pass dynamically, like username, password, test label, your org URL. Remember, in the previous lectures we were using those inside properties file. Now we can use those here in the variable as well. The target, either it is retrieve, deploy check only, what exactly it is. Then you have the code coverage. You can select either Joco or Cobetera. You can select anyone. Where is your class files? You can select advanced section as well. Where is your ant home? Where is your JDK version? You don't need to worry about this. And as soon as you click on add, it is going to add a task for you over here. Okay, you can select, once you select settings, you will see all these things again. Okay, if you want to add more, you might have something for copying the file. You can have like Azure file copy. You can have some npm command as well to install those things. Okay, so this is like basically an assistant for you, where you can get all the tasks not related to Salesforce only. You can also have tasks related to some other things as well. Let me see if we have got Sonar Cube. You can see we have got Sonar Cube, begin analysis, we have got end analysis. So if you wanted to have some Sonar Cube, we don't have basically Sonar Cube. I don't have any URL for Sonar Cube, so we'll not be able to basically set up this. But you can see here we've got every single thing over here as a part of Sonar Cube analysis. If you wanted to have some variables, what you can do is you can just go ahead and click create a variable. Suppose that you wanted to have a variable called salesforce.username. You can say let the user override this value while they run the pipeline. Okay, click on OK. Now we say that, let's say that we have got salesforce.password. Okay, for the password, this is a secret value and user can also override this. And how you can access, you will also see over here, right? If we are referencing that in the YML file, we will access like this. If we are referencing the same parameter in the batch script, we will access like this. For PowerShell, for batch script, so we have got various ways to access these variables. Go ahead, click on save. Now you can just go ahead and save it. Either you can commit into the main branch, or you can create a new branch for this commit as well. Okay, we don't need to we can create always a new branch, or you can commit in the main branch as well. Click on save changes, and now you have got your pipeline. You have option for run pipeline. Click run. It is showing you which branch you wanted to use, what are all the variables. If you wanted to override the value, you can just go ahead and override. Okay, if you want have stages to run, what are, if we don't have any stage for the pipelines, then click on run. And as soon as you click on run, it will take some time. It will send the information to the agent, basically the Ubuntu agent, and we will see this error. So the purpose was this video of also was showing you this error. Once you see this error, you will only see this error in the new Azure DevOps account. Why you are seeing this error? Because what Microsoft does, if you wanted to run a pipeline or release, you need to first tell us what kind of repository you are using, what is the URL to your organization, then only you can actually run this. Okay, so what you need to do is you just go ahead, copy this your org URL. Okay, provide what is your name, provide your email whichever is associated with the org. So I'll say that my email is sfdc amit singh@sfdcpanther.com. What is your organization URL? This is the one. And which repositories we are working? We are working on private projects. Go ahead and submit it. And now we have got this. So what will happen is they will check your request, and then they will grant you the access to those releases. Okay. And then creating a release, you can just go to the release, click on new release pipeline, and then here we can create a release. And in this release we can use the pipelines that we have created in the earlier steps as well. Okay. So how the release is different with a pipeline. Okay. So now suppose that you have created multiple pipelines, or you have created a pipeline which is validating your changes across a single environment. Now developer wants to deploy to certain environment, which can be a sandbox, a production, a QA, integration, hotfix, a bug fix, some feature branches. Okay. So how they can deploy? They can deploy from pipeline as well by changing the username or password. But every time if they have 10 or they have 20 orgs, they might get confused with their username and password. So what you can do is you create a pipeline, a release pipeline, where artifacts is going to be your source, the source of the pipeline build that you have created in the very first step. You can also select Azure repos, GitHub, Team Foundation, but as a best practice, or always we create this. Okay, now we have got this project. This is our build pipeline, and then we can click on add. We've got the artifacts. So whatever the changes were there in the pipeline, the build pipeline, those changes will be over here. You can also click on this lightning icon to enable continuous deployment trigger. You can enable that. You can add the branch print filters, which branch you wanted to. So you can have, suppose that you wanted to have a master branch, we can select our main branch. Pull request as well. If there is any basically pull requests on the branch, you can have those. Okay, then you can just close this. You've got the filters. Similarly, you can do for the stages. Now these stages are your environment. So let's say that I'm saying developer 1 sandbox. Okay, you wanted to have something else, you clone this, you say that developer 2 sandbox. Okay, if you wanted to have something below this, you can add a task. You can say add an empty, and you can say that it is kind of QA. Okay, then close this. If you wanted something add here, you can add here. You can say that it is something hotfix. So you are adding environments as part of stages. Okay, now here you can see job task, 1 job, 0 task. If you click here, you need to add a task over here. Task can be your AND script, your YML script. Okay, so you can just click on add. You can add your AND task. Okay, let's say AND task is here. Select build file. Where is build file? Where are options? The targets, every single thing. Okay, now you have got this. Then you see here variable. You can also create a variable under that pipeline. Okay, release pipeline. So once you create a variable over here, like the similar kind of variable, will say that sfdc dot username. Then you can have sfdc dot password. Okay, you can also have like sfdc dot test label. So these are the variables that you can have. If you scroll down, you can see here select at a time of release. So make sure you select all these variables. For password, this is a secure file, you just make it secure, and then you can save it. Click on save. Okay, so now you have got these. Suppose you have got this release. So what will happen? Now you have got this release. Let's go back to our pipeline, and if you open this pipeline and if you click over here, not here, here you see, then okay, there is, if you open this, click here, you will see an option for release over here, basically for releasing this pipeline. So we can create a release, or what we can do is we can go here on the release, we can create a release. It will say which org you wanted to select. We will select all the orgs. These are the variables. If you wanted to override those, and then create. So basically we have got the error. We don't have any artifact over here. That is why we are getting the error. let me show you into the different DevOps account which already I have. So this is the different DevOps account where I'm working on. I can just go ahead and create a project over here, and I'll show you basically for creating a release. So I'll just say the demo. So I just set up the complete thing which we did in the previous repo. Now this is run. You can see the branch is run. If you go to the job, you will be able to see all these like checkout demo. Then you have got run one line script. We got hello world, multi-line script. We got another build. This is the whatever we have given over there, right? Now get back to your job, and if you click here, you see we have got this release. So we can release this, and it will give you the same release which we have. If you wanted to have some other releases, you can have multiple, you can use those, and then you can just go ahead, click on select all. This is the artifact version, create. You can see a release one has been created. If you click on that, it will take you to the different window, and here in this window you will be able to see all your branches. You see here you've got stage, copy of stage 1, stage 2. If you hover over, you see that we have got deploy. If you click on deploy, you see that we have got deploy multiple. If you select this, you will ask which stage you wanted to deploy. If you wanted to deploy in particular, you can just go ahead and deploy, click on deploy, and you can click on that environment to see all these whatever actually is happening. If you wanted to see the view logs, you see on the view log options, click on agent job. It is still waiting for, basically it has requested to our Ubuntu latest platform. Here it is saying now it is in status in progress. Okay, we are now, it has got succeeded. Okay, get back to your pipelines. You see here all these information is here in a timeline format. You can see whatever work item is, whatever the comment is. So you can see like every single information over here, right? And that is how you, if you wanted to deploy to another, you can have that. Now we have talked about if we create like any file in this under this master branch or main branch, right? So we will be able to see. So we'll say that hello.txt file, create it. Now here I'll just say hello world and commit it. As soon as I will commit the changes to this branch, it will start running the pipeline which we have mentioned the trigger for the main branch. So you can see here, it is also one thing which is going to give you the automated way of your build running and deployment. So this is it about this video. Thank you for your time, and in the next video we will see how actually we can set up the Apache and pipeline. Thank you.